Hello, welcome back, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Alyssa. Happy 2024, everybody. So good to see you. Crazy that we're here. It still feels like we should be in 2018, 2017, because in my mind, everything after 2020 does not exist. It does not count. And yet here we are, 4 years after 2020, time marches on. But I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all fantastic. And at the very least, if you're not fantastic, I hope you are just getting by. Because sometimes that is the best we can ask for. And you know what? That's okay. But this year, I have decided that my New Year's resolution is going to be to learn how to crochet. Yes, I have decided I wanted to learn how to crochet. Put this in the category of hobbies I decided to learn, bought the materials for, and then a year later, haven't gone back to it yet. I'm looking at you, pandemic hobby, embroidery. In my defense though, I think crocheting will go a little bit better and it'll be a bit more long lasting because it's more utilitarian. Like I can actually create things. I can actually create garments to wear. Whereas with embroidery, you kind of just create art and then you display it. Yes, you can embroider on already existing clothes, but I think the concept still stands. So I have decided that I wanted to start crocheting because I wanted to start making my own things. I also think it's a great activity to do while you're doing something else, like while you're watching something, while you're listening to something. So we're just going to get right into it. I would like to preface, I have absolutely no knowledge of crocheting. No knowledge whatsoever. I have watched 2 videos. One was an introduction video and then one was an actual like how to crochet a sweater, blah 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 type of video. I am going to be creating a sweater vest, a patchwork sweater vest. Sweater vest because it is less involved than crocheting a full sweater. But then also it's going to look like this, with a bit of a more square neckline, which will be easier because the other video I watched to create a sweater vest created the actual V neckline, and you know what? We have not gotten there yet. I don't know how to create those shapes. I don't even know how yet to create a square. So we are starting at the very, very bottom beginner level. Oh, second thing I should note, having no knowledge of crochet, did I mention that? I went to the craft store, got my yarns here, and my needles, or my hooks here. And then I realized after the fact that there are numbers on the yarn, and there are numbers on the hooks that correlate to that number or thickness. I got like an 8. Yeah, I got like an 8. And the biggest hook size I have is a 6. But you know what? We're gonna make it work. And it'll be okay because I am not going out to the craft store again to buy different hooks. So we are just gonna jump right into it. Again, I need to learn how to crochet a simple square. And if I can do that, then that'll be great. And we'll see if I can then try to figure out how to do a plaid square, like so. So I have 3 different types of squares. But again, we are not trying to shoot for the moon. We are not trying to shoot for the moon to then land among the stars. We are shooting for, I don't know, maybe like a few feet up in the air. And we'll see where we land. So let's just get started. Okay, well, how do I figure out where is the end of my yarn? Okay, but seriously. Oh, got it. Okay, we can put this back on. Oh, there we go. Do you see that? I don't even know what to call this, but I did it. Does that look right? Is that correct? I mean, you know, it could look better, but does it look correct? That's what I want to know. Okay, we're just gonna continue, and then we flip. Ignore that. That's paper stuck on there. I don't know what to do with that. Anyways. Oh no! You know what? I'm gonna check back in when I am able to do a whole square.
1 hour later.
Okay, so I stopped. Here is my progress so far. I would say, actually, it looks pretty good. It's slightly rectangular, to be completely honest. I don't know how to count my rows. And I wasn't counting while I was doing it, so I have no idea how many rows this is. However, it looks good. It looks uniform. I was getting the hang of the motions, the hand motions, the finger motions. Okay, so I literally had to look up a video on how to count my rows. But I am done with my test square. I ended up doing 10 rows of 10 stitches, and I mean, it looks pretty symmetrical to me, if I do say so myself. So I'm just gonna stick with the size, and then I need to figure out how many I need. Okay, so based on this sweater vest I already own, let's do the math here. Okay, and last thing before moving on, I would like to set the goal for myself to finish this in a week. 1 week. Today is Friday, so by next Friday, I shall have completed creating and crocheting a sweater vest. We'll see. So in doing the math, if one ball of yarn creates 12 squares, and I need 40 squares, so 12 squares, what's 40 divided by 12? Basically 4. So I'm gonna need 4 balls of yarn. Oh my gosh. quick update. Today is Monday. I have been crocheting for 3 days straight, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and this is what I have accomplished so far, and this is kind of like the general idea of what I have going. I still have a complete backside to make. So I still have a lot more crocheting to do, but based on this, I know how many more I need.
Hi, hello. Yes, I feel like it is here where I should interject and talk about the actual plan and diagram I created after crocheting all of my squares. Yes, also please excuse the shoddy iPad screenshots I took of said diagram. So here is the initial plan I had in my mind. The front portion is on the left with the square neckline, and the back portion is on the right, completely filled in with all of the squares, which would put me at a total of 19 blue squares, 11 gray squares, 8 plaid squares, and 3 each of the half square blue and gray.
Also, for my straps, I need to create like half squares here and here to make the straps a little bit longer. So something along the lines of this right here, and like this here. Anyways, this is what I have so far. I'm also going to create some plaid squares to break it up and disperse the number of squares I already have. But we'll see. That means I need to go back to the craft store to get more yarn. I would need to go back to the craft store regardless to get more yarn of these two colors. We are about halfway there, maybe a little less than halfway, because for the back side I'm going to need to crochet to fill this portion. So let's continue on. So I am done creating my 4 rectangles to complete the shoulders. I realized I had to do 4 because there are going to be 2 on the front and then maybe 2 on the back. I actually don't know how that math is going to work out. I'm kind of just playing this by ear, if you haven't noticed, but I created these extras just in case. I know for sure I'll need 2 for the front. I might honestly need to do like a whole row of half squares to do the whole top row of the back. In any case, to create the blue ones, I had to sacrifice my test square to use up the yarn, and then this is all I have left of the gray yarn. So I need to go out and get more yarn. One last thing, my worries about completing this within my week timeline. It took me 3 days to crochet just the front. That's not even to say the entire back, which is going to be more squares, and then also sewing all the squares together and then doing some kind of ribbing, which I also need to learn how to do. A week might have been a little bit ambitious, but we're just gonna see how far I get. I mean, no pressure really. Who is this for? It's for me. I'm not any particular kind of deadline other than, you know, for this video. But we'll see. We'll see. We will see.
Hi again. Yes, hello. It is here I feel like I should interject yet again, one last time, I promise. Again, please excuse the screenshot. But after thinking about how much work I had to do, I decided to slightly modify my design. So I had fewer squares to crochet all together. Like I mentioned before, all of my squares were already crocheted because I did the math before even creating my diagram, but I had fewer squares to then stitch together. So I decided to make both sides, front and back, the same so that it would be reversible, but then also so that the back neckline would have more space and not come up so high on my neck. Does that make sense?
I have finished crocheting all of my plain colored squares, and so all I have left to do is crochet. I think it's maybe like 6 to 8, I think 8 of my plaid squares. I still need to learn how to do that and then actually crochet them. I only have 8 of the plaid, but it's a little bit more complicated because I have to change colors. So we'll see how long it takes me. Wait. How did that happen? Wait. Whatever. Okay, so this is my finished first plaid square. It could be worse, but it also could be a lot better. Also, these lines could be a lot cleaner. But you know what? This is only the first one. Well, that looks much better. It's amazing the improvements you can make when you follow the directions.
It is our job to follow the recipe.
But here we go. I'd say an improvement over this one, although this one is narrower than this one. Let's just stretch you out a bit. Oof, oh no. Good enough. All right. Okay, here we go. Whoop. Okay, so look, here's the thing, right? This is my first one, and I messed up on that one. I literally don't even know what happened. But then anyways, so this was the one I just finished. This arguably looks the best. This one I messed up because I did 9 rows instead of 10. I don't know why. Oh, but then also I tried to tuck in my loose thread, and that's visible here. So this one is just not great. Better than this one. Yeah, there we go. Halfway done with the plaid. Anyways, done with another one. One more. Done. Okay, so basically one whole week later, because I started this on Friday and today is now Thursday, I am done crocheting my squares. Did this take longer than expected? No, it seems about on track, to be completely honest. And I'm not even done yet. I still need to stitch them together and then create ribbing at the very least for the hem at the bottom, if not also around the sleeves, we'll see, and the neckline, I guess, we'll see. After this, I'm going to tuck in all of my loose threads with my plaid squares, learn how to stitch squares together, and then lay it all out, and then actually do the stitching of the squares together. Yeah, I'm giving myself an extended deadline here into the weekend. See if I could finish this by Sunday. But anyways, I feel like the bulk of the sweater vest is done.
Some time later.
Okay, look, so here's the deal, yeah? Today's Wednesday. I finished my sweater vest, if it can be called a sweater vest, on Monday. But I have been procrastinating on filming the conclusion and the big reveal because this did not turn out how I expected. Let me explain. As I was crocheting the squares, everything was fine. As I was stitching the squares together, that's when things started to maybe go downhill a little bit. Yeah. And when I finished one side, I thought, maybe I just need to wait until it's complete. Maybe it's like it'll all come together in the end kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? I stitched together the back side, stitched the two sides together to create the thing. One thing to note, because my test square that I originally crocheted, right, you remember, was much more loose and therefore wider, it gave me a different sense of reference for size and how many I would need. So my original 4 across math did not fit. Literally, it did not fit. So then I had to come up with some kind of solution. Okay, I had extra squares left because I crocheted more at the beginning than I needed because I crocheted them before I actually did the math. And I thought, okay, maybe I could just do another panel, like do a connecting panel, but then the pattern would have been messed up. Then I decided I am going to create ties as I was looking at crochet inspiration, and that was fine. So let me just, without any further ado, show this to you. Are you gonna focus? Here we go. This is what I have been slaving away for hours over. Yes. Do you see what I mean when I said, oh, maybe the completed product will just tie everything together so nicely? No, that was not the case. Am I embarrassed? One could say I'm embarrassed. Am I gonna wear this out in public? That's also a great question. I have no idea. I have yet to really put in the effort to try and style this to make this look not so, one, ugly, but then two, like so genuinely homemade. Like, did someone else with more experience and expertise make this and I bought it? No, 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 no. I made this with my own two hands. And I'm embarrassed.
Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
But I showed this to my mom and she laughed. But she also said, and I'm paraphrasing here,
for being your first time, it's actually not that bad.
and that's all fine and good and that's all well and whatever. But as someone who whose self-esteem really relies on being good at something from the get-go, I was expecting this to be a masterpiece. Something that you could sell on Etsy for like $150. But no, I don't think anyone would even want to take this for free. All of that to say, I think I know what I did wrong, and I'm not going to let this stop me, whereas previously, if I failed at something, I would have just given up. So, we're just going to do the styling now.
Polo is exhausted because Majesty, only Polo can take this and give you
A sweater vest.
Okay, well, that was fun. So in conclusion, to wrap everything up and to do this quickly because this video is already getting ridiculously long, I have some takeaways that I wanted to share. Number one, this crocheting takes a lot more time and effort and knowledge than previously expected. There are so many different techniques. There are so many different ways to construct something. There are so many different things to crochet and to create. The amount of knowledge and effort, but then the amount of time it takes to do all of this, to just create this one piece. This took me hours over the span of 9 days. I have a greater appreciation for makers of clothes, artisans, craftspeople who take the time to make their own clothes to sell. Knowing the amount of time and effort and skill it takes, I understand why those pieces, I mean, I've always understood why. I'm a fashion major, I hate fast fashion. But now being on the other side and trying to put in the effort and the time to make something myself, I have a much greater appreciation for all of the artisans out there who create stuff like this. But then not even like this. Don't make something like this. They make stuff much better than this. Number 3, in the future, I want to be able to have more time and less pressure. I was under a time constraint to get this done within a reasonable amount of time. But in the future, whenever I want to make something, giving myself more time and less pressure for me to do it for like a video. I just want to be able to create it at my own leisurely pace for myself. And second to last thing, but last point, there is so much that can be done. So there are so many things I would love to learn how to make One being just a typical granny square. I would like to know how to do that, to then parlay that into something else, to create something more than just like this. But then last thing, I think the more I look at this, and now that I have it styled with actual clothes and not just like putting a t-shirt on with my sweats, it's not as bad as I originally thought it was. Or maybe I have just looked at it so much and for so often that my eyes have gotten used to the ugliness, and so the ugliness is not that much anymore. But anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!